Are you ready to learn about why we decided to invest in US real estate? After hearing this, you're going to learn about all the different benefits that not only are catapulting and changing the way we do things and benefiting our portfolio, but it also has the opportunity to benefit you in terms of building your portfolio instead of getting capped here in North America. And it's all going to begin right after this. Hi everyone, Josh Tavares, investor and realtor with eXp Realty. So much if you can help us out and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to get updates on our newly uploaded content. And if you're looking for turnkey real estate with great cash flow, great appreciation, click the link below. Without further ado, guys, let's begin. For those of you who may or may not know, we own multiple properties in Southern Ontario, mainly in the Niagara region, in which we've seen great appreciation, great cash flow. However, we're noticing over time, because appreciation has gone up so much, it's become harder to duplicate and get the same cash flow and find great properties at a great price range that about 3 to 4 years ago you would find at a steal that'd be great to add to your portfolio. First thing got us thinking, how can we go about purchasing more properties with great cash flow, great appreciation at a low price point with the ability to purchase more properties in a smaller time frame? And then we did a bit of our research and found out that the US market is going to be fantastic, given how expensive properties are in the Canadian market. Now, the first reason why we decided to get in the US market is because of the low price point. Because of this, we're able to purchase many properties at a low price range with great cash flow that we're able to duplicate in a much shorter time frame, given the fact that we can purchase the property in cash at a price point that would have been used for a down payment in Ontario, we could use to pay in full in the US. And with this, we're actually investing in the Detroit market in areas that are gentrifying with great rents, things that are changing up, and single family homes where most of the utilities are going to be covered by the tenants and not us as the investors. Even lower price point ranges in Ontario, such as Sudbury and Thunder Bay, are still more expensive than purchasing properties in cash in full in the US, where we are now in Detroit. Now, I know Detroit's got a bit of a stigma, but over time there's been a ton of investments being bought into the city, especially in the automotive industry, where over $7 billion has been invested. It's going to create more jobs, it's going to lead to more rental demand, more housing demand, and it's going to be only better for investors. This is a great opportunity right now, given the low price point and the great appreciation taking place, to get in. It'd be like investing in Hamilton perhaps 10 to 15 years ago instead of now, where it's becoming more and more challenging to enter the market. That price range, you're getting a turnkey property in great shape, you're able to get great tenants in there, get top rents, and be able to get excellent cash flow, all in USD. And the second reason why we decided to get into the US market is the high cash flow. Now, cash flow is not the only thing you need to look at. There's many different ways to invest in real estate and win. We've talked about this on our channel, so feel free to check out some of the other videos. But with cash flow being so good in the US, we're talking about some properties that, after all the expenses, you've got $600 to $700 in USD. That can be anywhere near about $900 Canadian in cash flow from one rental property, especially if we're buying it out in cash, which is a strategy that we're taking place at this point in time. Now, compared to Ontario, if you're investing in Ontario right now in single family homes, you're looking to get a couple $100 in terms of cash flow. And that's having the property pay for its own mortgage and the tenants paying for their own utilities. Now, in the US market, because the price point is so low, you can pay in full in cash and be able to get high cash flow monthly that you can use to help duplicate down the road with multiple property purchases. And it makes it easier that you can go about duplicating, because you own the property outright, that at a later time you can go about refinancing and multiplying at a much higher scale than you would in Southern Ontario or many parts of Canada. And with regards to cash flow, what I love about this area in Detroit is the fact that there's a Section 8 housing, where essentially the Housing Commission in Detroit is going to be paying for a percentage, if not all, of the tenants' rents who are living in the area based on housing accommodations that the city provides to some tenants lower income. So it's fantastic. The income comes straight to the investor's hands. It doesn't go to the tenant's hands, so the investor gets paid first. Whereas in Ontario, it's actually the opposite. The hands of the tenants receive the funds instead of the investor. So if you're going to have a tenant causing you trouble and they decide not to pay rent, it's going to be a tough time acquiring that rent. Another big reason why we decided to get into the US market is the great appreciation taking place. And it's not like in these markets we're not seeing good appreciation. We are seeing great appreciation, 20%, which is driven by the great jobs, the great demand taking place in the city of Detroit, and we're seeing similar appreciation as you would see in Southern Ontario. Now, I know the higher price points mean you'll receive a higher dollar value in terms of appreciation, but given all the pros coming up in the US market, I think overall it has a much better, larger benefit that can benefit everyone involved, not only ourselves, but also the individuals we're partnering with to have the same financial outcome. And the appreciation is so key because with these high appreciation, it gives us the ability to refinance within 6 months to a year to get most of our money back and help duplicate into multiple properties. Something that you cannot do in Canada right now without having to have a large lump sum of money or having to wait a long time. Number 4, high equity. Because you're purchasing these properties in cash because of the low price point, you have high amount of equity that you can use to leverage into multiple properties by refinancing and working with a lender who will work with foreign nationals, which is fantastic. Now, of course, there's gonna come with some obstacles in terms of lending, being a foreign national, but there is some options that'll really help, and then it'll help with scaling your portfolio there on forward. Because of high appreciation and owning the property outright, we have excellent equity that within, when it's time to refinance, we have the ability to refinance at a higher rate, get most of our money back, and use it towards buying multiple properties, and we're essentially scaling based on the high amount of equity we have invested into the property. And because the equity opportunity of purchasing in cash, having the high appreciation, we have the ability with ourselves and including our partners to be able to scale, purchase multiple properties where us and our partners are benefiting from the high cash flow, great appreciation, and the ability to scale to multiple properties so we can all get to a better financial lifestyle. Number 5, corporate structure. Now, as a US investor, we highly recommend, and it's fantastic, you get into a corporate structure so that way you have no liability onto the property. So essentially, you can get your property into an LLC and LLP, have limited liability, as well as have a low tax rate that's super beneficial as an investor, especially from a different country such as Canada, where in Canada, if you're investing, it's either gonna be sole proprietary or in a corporation, which essentially in Canada, it's gonna be a lot more expensive for accounting fees as well as for creating the corporation, where in the US it's a couple $100 and you've got a corp, your property in there, and you have all the tax benefits and the liability benefits as well. I highly recommend that you work with a cross-border specialist who understands both the Canadian and US real estate investing rules and taxes, because this is going to be super beneficial because you can actually have your property in an LP in which essentially you can go about paying one tax. So whatever tax you're going to pay in the US side, you can actually roll over the credits onto the Canadian side. So it's actually fantastic. And you can also withdraw the funds that you have in USD onto your Canadian account, which is fantastic. And number 6, most important, is lifestyle. By investing in the US real estate market, it helps us to get to our financial peak much sooner. In Ontario, with purchasing a couple of properties, you're limited for the amount of cash flow and the ability to scale, which essentially for some investors, you're able to get into the market and cap after 1, maybe 2 properties, and that's it. Not living the financial dreams that you of course encountered for. However, you're in a better position than owning no rental properties. But getting into the US real estate market, you have the ability, if done correctly and done right the first time, you have the ability to scale to purchase multiple properties in cash and scale there on forward with great cash flow, great appreciation, equity ownership at a low price point that you're able to duplicate, and it's just going to be a beautiful thing so you can focus more on the lifestyle you've always wanted with your family. And this is something that we totally encourage when we're working with partners investing in the US real estate market, because it's not always about us benefiting, it's about everyone involved in the deal benefiting and having a better lifestyle. And that's why when partnering with individuals, we're very transparent about everything that takes place, so there's nothing caught off guard, because we're very big on reputation and being able to get things done the first time. I hope that video is super helpful and insightful and gives you all the information that you need as to why we got into the US investing scene. Josh Tavares, investor and realtor with eXp Realty. Thank you so much, guys. Again, if you can hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to get updates on our newly uploaded content. And if you guys are thinking investing in real estate and you want low price point, great cash flow, great appreciation, and everything else associated with real estate, click the link below. Let's book a call and let's get you started in investing. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care.